All right, all right. Let's get this party started. All righty. Everybody is in the house today. Dark Chuck, Little Chuck. Let me go ahead and bring this up a little bit. There we go. First, Pete's Vlogs in there. What's going on, Pete? Josh D's in the house. Glenn Judd. Camera's actually pretty clear today. Usually if I put something in front of it, it has to readjust itself, and it's never right? Move this aside here. Photography, Light and Magic. What's going on, guys? Jason McVeigh. Donnie Fisk. What's going on, Donnie? Good to see you in there. Eyes of a Falcon. Hi, Chris. Hi, all. Michael White. What's going on? Let's see here. Oh, testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. We are good. Audio is good. Doughboy UK, what's happening there? Good to see you in there. Find it, restore it. I like that. It's pretty cool. Libby's in there. Hello. How are you? Cascales is in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Bruce Owens in the house. What's going on? Tommy Wiley's in there too. Awesome. What's going on? Hi, Chris from Frozen Windy, Scotland. Hope you are well. Well, don't feel like you're alone, Tommy, because tomorrow evening it's supposed to cool down here. It's supposed to be about 60 degrees here, and then sharply colder, rain and snow overnight. So 16 degrees Fahrenheit for a low Tuesday morning, and yeah, it doesn't get much better after that. So, yeah. I don't know about you guys, but, at least here in the States or my area, like the eastern part of the States, it's like, Mother Nature's going, nah, you guys are not going to get fall this year. We're just going to go straight into winter. That's it. That's all there is to it. Ricardo Torado, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Mr. Gossima, what's happening? Alex McAllister. How's everything at the store? Doing well. Doing really good. Happy Sunday, everyone. What's going on there, Lucky Mull? Mac Duffin, Glasgow in the house. Glasgow, Scotland is in the house. Krauser 4123. Hi, Chris. Great videos once again this week. Strange things indeed. Yeah. Like I said, it's something you never get used to, guys. It's like you just don't know what you're going to pull out of these photos. You have no idea. You're just going to, maybe it's just nothing. We'll just go ahead and do this. And next thing you go, what is that? What is that?
Sorry, there's nothing to...
Quiet. Siri decided to jump in on this. I don't know how she thought I was talking to her, but okay. Stephen Barber, thank you for the support. I do appreciate it. Eric Bauer, hi everyone. James, what's going on? Mr. James Cragen. Hi, Chris. Man, great work again from you, Hawkeyes himself. The past week, just checking in with you, man. Looking forward to the hangout, like always. Well, I am too, as always. Cold here in Maine. Yeah, strange guys. I can imagine my buddy moved from Rhode Island up to Maine. And I said, that's a bad idea. He's got arthritis, bursitis. He's got all kinds of crazy stuff. I said, and the reason why you're moving up to Maine is what? You stoned? I said, no, even his doctor told me, you must be out of your mind to be moving up there, but got a good deal on some property up there, so let's just put it that way. I guess it's as good as any, right? I said, just stay in the house and never come out. You'll be all right. Todd Burdett, hi from WV. All right, neighbor, what's happening? What part are you from? Exterfield? I've been definitely getting snow already. Yeah, I mean, well, we have been getting snow already. Yeah. I don't know where you're from, but like I said, I'm from Rhode Island originally, born and raised, and they've already been getting snow. I'm like, oh my God. You can keep it, but like I said, we're supposed to get about maybe a coating to an inch, nothing serious. I think the last storm I had before moving down here, we had like 18 inches of snow, and I said, I'm not shoveling anything. Boom, push button, 4-wheel drive, bye. I didn't pay no mind to it. John Beck, thank you for unmasking NASA's photos, you said. Thank you, sir, for your support. It is greatly appreciated. Mr. Gosma, also thank you for your support as well. And you said, nice to see you, Chris. Keep up the amazing work. Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys know that. Like I said, I can't say it enough. I mean, it's like every time, like I'll get into these photos and I see something, I'm just excited to like show it with you guys, and just share it, and stuff like that, and just show it to you. And it's wild because, I'm just, like I said, I could be sitting there like this last photo I did of the moon. No big deal. Just kind of like going through it, found some crazy things in it, right? And I'm just like, wow, this is going to be awesome. When this is all said and done, let me see if I can get anything else out of it. If not, no big deal. The sooner I can get it on and make a video of it, right? And I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. So, yeah, you just never know what you're going to find. And that's what I find. It's like a grab bag, right? You just don't know what you're going to find. So I think it's awesome. And you guys make it that way because, like I said, without you guys, there is no channel, right? Let's just be honest. You don't have anybody watching. There's no channel there. So Josh D saying, hi, Lucky. And they were great vids, Libby. Exactly. Winter is here in Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just like, I think, like I said, I don't know about you guys, but there is no fall here. It's just jumping right into winter. Digger, you said, what's up, Chris? Well, not too much, man. Just hanging out with you guys. Hope everything is good with you. MC Gamer, hey, Chris, and the community. What's going on, MC Gamer? Mark, he said, hi, Chris. Just a quick hello. Going to work. Watch later. Nice day here in Gosford, New South Wales, Australia. 9 a.m. in the morning. Yep. I was going to say, it's going to be the next day for you right now. Well, I hope you're having a good day. As far as the weather here, like I said, we're going to be pretty good. Today was good. It was around, well, it's still 62 degrees here. Tomorrow's supposed to be the same way. And then, like I said, after that, nosedive. So, yeah. Michael Hillis, he said, howdy from Huntsville, Alabama. What's going down there in the BAM? Great state, by the way. Been down there a couple of times myself. Mimi reacts. Hello, Chris. Hello, guys. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Mimi. Good to see you in there. Justy, I like that. So I moved from phone to laptop. There you go. Nick, what's going on? Good to see you there, Nick Mad. Great channel, Chris. Thank you, sir. You've been with me for quite a while, man. Nothing but supportive, man. It's just awesome. Photography like magic. There's nothing more exciting than finding some weird alien shit in a photo. And it's true, man. I mean, it's, a lot of people go, well, I had one guy tell me this is funny because he's like, oh, why would you want to pull apart these photos, man? They're like over 50 years old. I went, and that means what? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they are that old. But here's the thing. They didn't think for a moment that, later on through the years, everybody's going to have their own PC. They're going to have software such as, GIMP, Photoshop, so on and so forth. And they're going to be able to pull these photos apart. They weren't thinking that in a million years. So that's where it's boom. That's why you're all over these. And it's not just me all over. There's other people all over them as well, like Alien Hunter, things like that. We're all over these photos, and there's a reason for it. It's not, it's like, what does that mean? Because they're older. How many people back in the 60s and 70s were dissecting these photos? You couldn't do it, right? Unless, of course, you were, had access to a really good computer back then. And, God forbid, chances are they probably wouldn't let you near it if you had bad intentions, right? So, yeah. Phil Cox and daughters with Jessica, and Kelsey Brown. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all good. I'm doing fine here, Phil. Hope you and the family's doing well. Michael, yeah, he said he loved the rusted cars and tunnel on Mars vid. That was amazing, man. Well, I mean, it's weird. I mean, how we interpret it, I don't know if they're really cars, right? But I mean, it just had that look about them. And because it's something we can relate to here on Earth, right? So we see these things and go, wow, why does it look, it's so uncanny? It kind of looks that way. Now, whether they are or not, that's a whole different ballgame. But to me, that was just kind of looked that way. Like I said, I have a friend of mine, I show it to him. He's pretty straightforward. He'll tell you right out. Look at that's a BS or wow, that's interesting. What is that? And he'll do that. Sometimes we just have a lot of fun with the photos, but it looked at he goes, man, that looks like cars. I said, where the heck are you seeing a car? And he said, well, the one you just pointed at over there, and then there's one over there. And that's why I said that in the video. And it does. It actually has this weird look about them. And they kind of look that way. Renee's in the house. Renee van Oosterhout. What's going on? Helger Eckert. What's going on? He said, Jaden Fury, you said, hi, Chris, good evening. What do you think about ancient Stargates? I've seen them. I mean, I've never seen them in person, of course, but I mean, I've seen where they've supposedly dug these things up, like Stargate Atlantis, right? And that's what they kind of look like. They have that uncanny look to them. And I'm not so sure those. I'm kind of on the fence about those because I'm not saying they don't exist because they had one that really looked like authentic, right? And then all of a sudden they started finding more and more of these. It's kind of like the movie, if you think about it, right? So whether that's true or not, I can't be sure. But if they are all, in fact, the real deal, that's pretty exciting. Richard Mortimer, he said, morning, Chris, and everyone. What's going on, Richard? Good to see you in there. Poor Garden, love all the effort put into the shots and videos. I appreciate that. Stephen Quinn's in the house. He said, hi to all, guys. Looking forward to a good talk. Cheers, Chris. Right, cheers right back at you there, Stefan. I think I said Stephen earlier. Daniel, you put on there they didn't have technology to ever think that we would be able to see their naughty deeds. Well, and that's the thing. Back then, if you were shown a photo of the Apollo missions, LROs, or whatever, who could even do anything? I mean, if you think about it, what were computers back then? Even if you were rich enough to have one of these things, it was so like X's and O's and kind of lame, right? It was just basically just words and stuff like that. Nothing of anything like we have today. And even Donnie says like more computing power in a modern calculator than what the first lunar lander used to reach the surface of the moon. Which is true. Back then when you had a computer, it's the size of the whole darn wall back here, as opposed to even something as small as an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? So it's, yeah, there's so much more, power in just that alone than 3 or 4 of those huge computers, because they were basically all crude. They're just a bunch of relays and tubes, and it was basically a hybrid back then. So that's why they made them so large. Michael White, you said, yeah, they looked exactly that way, man. Yeah, they did. They actually did. I mean, I'm not going to lie, they actually look like little cars and some kind of weird things next to them. And next to them, they had like this half round pipe on that right side of the mountain. And then you had whatever that was built into the other side. I have a feeling they had both structures freestanding as well as the ones on the sides of the hills. What do you guys think about that? I think they're just like here. I mean, back, Pueblo Indians, things like that, where they built into hillsides and stuff. And it makes perfect sense. Cools you in the summertime, and it keeps you relatively warm in the cooler months because you're sheltered from the air and the elements and stuff like that, or at least wind anyway, right? So yeah. This thing just jumped up on me here. Bush Corey's in the house. What's going on, Bush? Bush Corey. Sorry I'm late, but finally here. How are you, Chris? Hope all having a great weekend. Yeah, absolutely, Corey. We're definitely having a good one here. I hope you are too. George Key Money. He said, hi, Chris. I'm George from UK, and I'm a subscriber to your channel. I sent you a photo of a Titan probe landing a couple weeks ago. Just wondering whether you received it or not. I did actually get a few. I'm not sure if it was yours was in there as well. Now, was it on Facebook itself, or did you send it to my email? Because I try to, when you get them from both, it's kind of hard because I've been trying to catch up on the ones on Facebook and then trying to do the same on my email. So, I don't miss anybody if I can. Now, it doesn't mean I don't. I'm not perfect. I try to keep up with everybody and stuff like that. And it's kind of like doing this, right? It's kind of trying to get everybody's comments and stuff. So, Alien Tenno, yes, you are correct. This is apparently Jupiter's red spot is shrinking. It is. I heard that about a month ago. They said they were talking about how it's shrinking and stuff. Now, I'm not sure why they say it's actually doing that, but I do remember hearing about it. Jason McVeigh said, Chris, what are your thoughts on the Black Knight satellite? I actually done a video about that. If you go to my page, you can go in there and just do a search. And there's a little area where you can just search bar kind of thing. I've done it. They try to pass it off as one of the thermal blankets, right? But when you look at this thing, you go, okay, a thermal blanket, the one that supposedly had come off the craft was about the size of the astronaut's torso, maybe even a little bit bigger. Let's say it was from his neck down to his knees. Let's call it that, right? Well, the photo you see, there's more than one, I believe, that you can see this thing off in the distance. So it's away from the craft, and it's still quite large. You go, wait a minute, that blanket up close to the camera should be about the size of this astronaut, but now it's way off in the distance, and it looks like it could be 5 times bigger than the astronaut. Wait a minute. Is it a blanket? Is it an actual craft? I think it's 2 different things, and they're trying to pass it off as a blanket. And yeah, I've done a video on that. Yeah, I believe it's there. And I brought up some other details about that thing, too. It's pretty cool. Photography like magic. He said, my dog loves your videos, too. When I stop watching your show, my dog comes over and enjoys a belly rub. I think he's a fan. He might be. Well, he's just a fan of the belly rubs. One of the two, right? Dog's like, oh, yeah, you watch this and go ahead and pet me. It all works out for all of us. Nina McDonald, he said, hey, yesterday I was watching one of your older videos, and you point out a lot of stuff that was showing up now that's hidden that you bring out for us. But when I started watching, I took my magnifier. Of course, you ran out of words, because you only get like 200, whatever it is, characters. But yeah, when you start bringing your magnifier out, you see a whole lot more stuff, don't you? I mean, it's just like, I'm seeing what he's showing in the photo, but then you take your own magnifier, oh my God, the stuff you see. But guys, be careful, because sometimes you can get into the fabric of the photo, right? So you start seeing these, like all these little weird things. You start seeing patterns and stuff. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get in too close. You got to be careful of that. In fact, there was somebody who sent me an email saying that they're into looking at these photos and how, and like I said, let's just go back, because the Curiosity rover will actually they'll stack photos. They'll have the original one, and then what they do is they stack other ones. In other words, they'll take let's say there's a rock outcropping, right? They'll take 4 photos of that. Now, it could be up to 8, but if they take the original, now they want to lighten up the other ones, or they just need a copy over. And what they can do is they can, do whatever they want to that particular photo and then overlay it back. Now, when they take multiple pictures of that one area, now the way NASA claims what they're trying to do is this. Let's say you got rocks in the front and some rocks in the back. By doing multiple photos, they then can, zoom into the certain parts of it. So everything is clear, whether it's far behind or up close to the camera. They want to get this it all focused in. That's what they claim. And that's what they call Z-stacking. The actual rover will Z-stack these photos, and then they send them back to Earth. And then, of course, to me, I think they overlay them. And, of course, they do their manipulation obfuscations, kind of like what they do with the acetate back in the day on the Apollo photos and LRO even, where, mostly the Apollo, but they would actually put a film over the actual photo. And, of course, they can actually marker out some things, airbrush this spot, and then they take another photo of this overlaid over the photo. And guess what? Now you don't see anything in these photos, but sometimes you do. And that's the whole key. So, yeah. Thank you, George. Key Money. I appreciate your support. You guys are the best, man. And like I said, I don't know if I got to it yet. Let me see if it shows. I don't know if you answered me whether you said that, because I'm still behind on this one here, and I'm trying to catch up to it, make sure I see if I got your answer. Because I asked you if you had done it, if you sent it to my Facebook or my regular Mars Anomalies email, because I want to make sure I get it and have a look at it. Okay. You then said, Nina, you said, I started seeing all kinds of other things in the video. You were playing you are playing with a ship that on my screen, I could actually, I'm going to see where it said either Mac or GMC on the front of it. Somebody told me, I don't know about that, but I mean, I remember seeing some kind of crazy things. I don't, what video was that? Do you remember? Because it seemed to me there was something that was just weird. It kind of looked like this kind of vehicle type thing. And I'm not sure which one it is. I think I have trying to remember which one that was. You're just saying some kind of truck or something like that. All right, you guys are going back and forth with each other there. I just want to make sure I'm not. Okay, Donnie, you sent yours through there. Okay, I think I've got yours. Did I answer you already? Yeah, I think I got yours. I think yours was through Messenger. Pascal V or 5, depending on how you look at it, I guess. That's correct. Hold on, let me make this thing a little bit bigger. Okay. Anyway, you said, Chris, did you check out the long structures on the moon? An old Apollo 15 video I sent you. I think, yeah, I did see that. That's weird, man. It was kind of blurry. That wasn't the clearest, but still pretty wild. There was another one. Somebody else had sent me a video or two. They gave me the, I don't know if it was you, Pascal, if you sent me to this, but there was an actual link to the video. And when I watched it was kind of really blurry and it wasn't all that great. But what I did see in there was pretty crazy, man. You can see things that they don't look like a mountain. You can see mountains. I mean, they're natural, right? And then you can see something that's just like completely like rectangular or something like that. It was pretty crazy. There was several people that sent it to me. That's why I'm trying to remember who sent me what. So, just bear with me on that. Because in fact, like I said, I got on Facebook and I try to answer everybody's either, because you ask, what do you think of this? And I'll say yes or no, or I just think it's this or whatever. And I'll answer your question. And then, some of you guys are like, offering some work or something you guys might have found that I can do in a later video. So, I appreciate you all doing that. And so I'm trying to get through all of them. Plus, like I said, my Mars Anomalies email. So, yeah, fun. Steven, you said, Chris, I think the world superpowers have collaborated and sent a secret mission to Mars. It's not beyond the possibility of doing it. There's more stuff on Mars than we mortals know. Oh, I totally agree with you, Steven. I think I absolutely believe that. And that's true. There you are, Cosmo. Good to see you in there. Greetings, Earthlings, and Shopbite Chris. Have a great show. Check my reply back via email later. All right, I will. But I know I got you now. I know who you are. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. Like I said, I still got to go back to the ones anyway and check to see if anybody else has sent me more stuff. So definitely do that, Cosmo. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Stephen, because like I said, to me, they don't stop. They're not going to stop from once they went on the Apollo missions. Why stop there? And, so why do that? That's the way I look at it. And by the way, Cosmo, thank you. I appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. And, like I said, I mean, to me, it's just, if you went there to begin with, and I've said this before, if you went there to begin with, it was kind of like it's like, just testing the water, so to speak, right? Okay, we've done it. We went to the moon. What do you think? They just went, all right, just wrap it up, guys. It's a wrap. And they just said, to heck with it. We're never going to fly anywhere else ever again. I don't think that's the case at all. I think they absolutely have gone on and on. I think they've gone to Mars. I think they've gone, well, maybe they went to Mars first, but then they'll try other, planets and maybe moons. But of course, they'll have to make sure that it's safe. Obviously, you don't want to land on a planet and something's going to eat you. So, to me, it just makes sense to when they send probes, makes sense to just scan the surface and see if it's okay to do that. Because if you think about it, you can go on any planet you like, right? As long as you're not going to either A, get burned up or completely freeze to death standing there. Other than that, it doesn't matter what the planet's made out of, right? What gases are on it. You got your own suit on. Doesn't matter. And as long as it's not corrosive and it's going to do something to the suit, you should be fine. And as long as you can get back off the surface, the spacecraft should be fine and you should be all right. So it really doesn't matter what gases make up what planet. You can still get there, right? Pete's Vlogs, thank you. Appreciate it there, Pete. Appreciate your support, as always. I'm actually seeing it's funny. I'm looking at it in peripheral vision. I'm reading the comments right here, but I'm looking at the side and I can see it. Boom. You can see it indicate here, but I'm still, up on the comments, but right there, I can see it perfectly. So let's jump down as far as we can here. Get to the bottom. Libby, you said, I agree, Chris. I think there's much more, much farther than that, in fact. And I agree. I mean, again, I wouldn't stop. If you known you could do it to begin with, it's kind of like I said, it just comes, let's just do the easiest stuff. When they started making, cars, right? They were electric. Then they went to steam. Then they went to gas. And we've improved by leaps and bounds. And look where we are now with cars. Now, of course, we're kind of going full circle, right? Because now we're back to electric cars. But we also have hydrogen. We have all different other fuels that are coming out and stuff like that. So, it may be electric car, like back in the I think it was mid to almost later in the 1800s where we came out with the first electric car. I think it was like 1894, I believe it was. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But somewhere around there, give or take a few years, right? And although it was crude, it was just a simple battery that didn't last very long, but not the point. The thing is they did it. Now it's much more improved. So why don't we just make it just an old junk battery car and say, oh, the hell, we're good. We don't have to walk anymore. We don't have to use a horseback. We want to improve on it. That's what we do. We improve. So, yeah. Good evening to you there, Rachel. How are you? Good to see you in there. Hi, Chris, my favorite man. How are you? I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. What'd you make for dinner tonight? Anything good? I already had pizza, so I'm good. But, yeah. Let me watch her. What's happening? Good to see you in there. Shammy Dudar. Hey, hello, Chris. Still holding out for you to be the next president. Are you aware of Art Alien TV on YouTube? I came across his channel. He seems to have a cool stuff on his channel. Absolutely. Yeah, Joe, he's good people. I mean, I always tell people, go check his stuff out, Art Alien TV, and check his work out. He finds phenomenal stuff. You always see things like, he finds a lot of statues, a lot of good stuff like that. Does great work. Yeah. He's a personal friend of mine as well on Facebook, and we've actually had I've actually had him on my channel at some point, and yeah, good guy, straight, shoot straight from the hip. He lives in the UK. Good guy. Daniel, yeah, you're right. You said that there was a rumor all the way back in the 60s, 3 men orbited Mars, but didn't land. Surely by now, yes. If they did, in fact, just test it, in other words, just fly from here, and of course, go and at least orbit Mars, then that, like you said, by now, definitely, they have definitely landed there. And I think because if they already landed on the moon, surely they could do that too. Because isn't it kind of like the moon, where it almost doesn't have quite the, what is it, like 1/10 of it, I think it is, or I forget what it is now off the top of my head. I've actually been just looking at some other science news here, and some one that's got all kinds of numbers in it. So yeah. But anyway, it's not as much. It's not much different than the moon. So if that's the case, then why couldn't they land there as well? What's the difference between it? Well, there is atmosphere on Mars, and there is gravity. Not much different from the moon, but it's there, right? So 686 Auto, 786 Auto, I'm sorry. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Thank you, sir, for your support. Always appreciated. You know that. And good to see you here. Oh, they just jumped on me here. Hold on. There we go. Mimi reacts. She said, Chris, what do you think about our aliens Mars pitches? Well, like I said, he does a lot of stuff like I do, right? I mean, he does the stuff on Mars like I do. And of course, I do the moon too. But of course, he does it as well. He does a little of both if he can. And he just brings out the details like I do. So in other words, he'll look at something, and if it looks like kind of like statue kind of thing, or like a bust of a statue or whatever it may be, and you can see the faint details in it, but they're not quite there. Well, he'll do everything he can to pop them so you can actually see them better. And and that's basically what I do, right? If I see something, we can see it, but then I'll try to bring it out and expose it a little bit better so we can all see it better. And that's what it comes down to. But yeah, like I said, he does good work. Renee Van Oosterhart, you said the statues, man. Sharp eyes, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, he does really good stuff, as far as I'm concerned. Rachel, I'm good, Chris. I haven't cooked lately, but bought myself a pizza yesterday and ate it all. I hear that. Hope it was loaded, by the way. That's why I like it. If I can have a nice supreme pizza. SC's in the house. What's going on, SC? Good to see you in there. Alien Tenno, anyone think we have a military space force? Absolutely. We've had it since the 80s. The Star Wars project. And yeah, I think it's just gotten, I think it just evolved more and more, meaning, if they have something up there, whether it be weaponry or whatever, then, they probably have taken some of that down and put up more high-tech stuff, so on and so forth. You can bet they've done it. And yeah, again, they wouldn't stop at that, right? Because I think it can work twofold if you think about it. If you got it over the United States and, of course, another, country tries to bomb us or whatever, they can right there from space either take it out with some kind of EMP or a laser, or at least a laser by now, right? Back then, I think they were talking, back in the 80s, they were talking about missiles. I'm thinking, it's a missile. My God, that thing had to be super accurate because that thing misses its target. It's going to hit the ground one way or another, right? May not be a good thing. Yeah, you're right about that, custom tailored one. How can we believe what NASA says about the atmosphere of Mars? They lie about everything else. And you're right on, man. And, I believe it's a lot thicker than they say. It really is. They just want people to believe, listen, there's no way that anybody could live on it. Think about it. If we're talking about how the structure's there and we're saying that, okay, well, chances are there may be still, something alive on the planet, maybe humanoids or whatever it may be, right? And of course, it's pure speculation, but let's suppose that there are. Well, if they tell us that it's a harsh environment, nothing can live, then it kind of like defeats what we're thinking, right? So, and I say bull because the way I look at it is that at some point, you go, okay, well, it's a thin atmosphere. Something still had to either adapt to it or that's something that's maybe always been like that. How do we know? We don't know. They say it was a lot like Earth. That doesn't mean it was. Meaning, I believe there's oceans. I believe there's, trees. I believe there's all kinds of stuff just like Earth. But the atmosphere might have been thinner to begin with. How do we know? And, like I said before, I mean, there's like villages up in mountains that live in thin air all the time. And they live to a rightful old age, man. I mean, so, when they say thin atmosphere, that doesn't mean nothing could live there. I think that's a bunch of crap. Dirk Korolinga, you said, hi, Chris. I wonder if you ever read Stranger in a Strange Land, written by Hein Lane, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. No, I haven't. It sounds familiar, but I've never wrote it. Oh, I'm sorry. You said written, so I said wrote. Read it. I haven't. Is it interesting? Is it good stuff? Wouldn't mind checking it out. Stranger in a Strange Land. Because it might be a movie it's reminding me of too, right? James Gregan, you put on there, Chris, in the Mars video on the 7th of November. What you are pointing out to in the hillside when looked at with a magnifier. It's unreal. You can clearly see a structure that looks like it's smashed up. Well, yeah. I mean, somebody else had said that too. It said it looked like some kind of weird, like mine entrance. I mean, it looked like it had caved in or something like that. I believe it's framework. Whatever that thing is, it's framework, and it wouldn't be hard to believe because if there was occupants on the planet and still are, it's perfect. You could even live in an area has no magnetic, field to protect you, or because think about it: if you're living in some kind of dirt structure, you're being sheltered from any kind of radiation from the sun. The cold, you're insulated. The heat, you're insulated. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around, right? That's right, guys. Smash that like button. Hammer time. Exactly, Cosmo. It just takes to acclimate to thinner air. Absolutely, and I agree. And it's like, but let's say for argument's sake, the way they said the catastrophic event literally ripped the atmosphere out, and of course they're saying now it's super thin, hardly anything there. Okay, but that doesn't mean maybe they just took them a little time to get used to it. Maybe it was harder for them to breathe. You know what I mean? And but if you go down into lower areas, lower elevations, the deep or the thicker the air becomes, right? So closer to the ground, the air's there's close, closer to the ground, it's actually thicker. So even if it's higher up and you lost a lot of thicker atmosphere or air, then yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do it in low elevations. This is the reason why they're down in Gale Crater to begin with, guys, because they know, and it's right there at the equatorial region. They know it's warm right there, and they know there's still water there. There's a water cycle there. I mean, it just goes on and on, man. They know what's up, and they know exactly what's there. It's not guesswork. It's a reconnaissance mission. That's what that's all about. I don't know if I said hello to you there, Susie and Ann, but if I haven't, good to see you in here. Right, you said Mars is not what we were all led to believe. NASA has a huge history of lying and covering up lost credibility a long time ago. And you're right. You're absolutely right. And a lot of people have been saying that lately. It's like, how the heck can you even believe anything they say? It's like, well, to me, you have to read between the lines, right? Because even a liar tells the truth sometimes. So, you know, to me, it just makes sense that if you're researching this stuff yourself, clearly you can see that, like I said, just the clouds, the water they've been finding on there. Now they said, like I said, they went from carbon ice, um, from CO2 to, H2O, so on and so forth. First, it was just carbon ice that made up the poles. Now it's wait a minute. Now there's H2O underneath the CO2 or the carbon ice. So, yeah. So now it's almost like they're by whoever's doing these kind of videos. It's not just me, of course, but other people that are doing them. Now they're going okay. Now that's like they're like okay. Well, it's almost like they're a lot of people know about this stuff. So why don't we just go ahead and let that slip out? Like I said, that video that I had told you guys about where I had that technician who worked on the drill for the Curiosity. And like I said, the guy interviewing him, he told him right out, he says, what are you talking about? He says, so you're telling me the drill bit can get jammed up? And he said, well, yeah, because we found this like really moist sand and that Gale Crater, in fact, does have a water cycle. So, and I was saying this for the longest time. And then when I seen that, I shared it on one of my videos. I was like, this is awesome, guys. You got to check this out. So they know a lot more than they're letting on. Let's just put it that way. And they're slowly letting it out. That's what it's all about. Quantum Discovery Network. All right. Studios Realism here. New name, Mr. Chris. Oh, okay. You're confusing me. We could have stopped changing the name around. But good to know, by the way. Paul Bland's in there. Good morning, Chris, and everyone. Paul must be over in either Australia or pretty darn close to it. It's already morning time there. Nathan Bond, NASA was run by the Germans from Project Paperclip. Well, yeah, I mean, when they had them all come over for amnesty and stuff like that, and then, of course, they said, okay, you need to start designing this stuff for us, right? So they had, was it 2022 scientist. And of course, then they went to work, Werner von Braun, stuff like that. Built I think it was the first Atlas V, was it? Um, and of course, we're still using Atlas V rockets, which is insane. But now we're actually changing that. They're going to start going to different rockets, so on and so forth. And that's why I said it's almost like that old, technology, like the old rockets, is like PR crap. It's for the people, the public. And then I'm behind the scenes going, okay, let's just get into this anti-gravity machine and go to Mars. About 20 minutes from now, we should be there. It just seems like the old technology is what they're still feeding us and still showing the public. But so to make it sound like we're going farther in technology, but we're really not that far yet, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's the case at all. I think they're much further than what they'll ever say, or who knows? Back in maybe in another, well, I should say, let's say it's just about 2020, might as well be, right? Another 10 years, you're probably going to hear about all kinds of top, secret spacecraft that, like they talked, about all the other craft back in the day, that come out in the 50s. So, yeah. Jensen James says, PennIsland.com explained everything you just said. I said quite a bit. I don't know which part you're talking about, but Paul. Oh, okay. Okay. You're in Queensland. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, good morning to you there, Paul. Final name? Okay. That's good. Stephen Barber says Tibet is one of the highest places in the world with the thinnest air. I heard astronauts who have or been sent to Mars were sent there as part of their training. And you know what? That wouldn't surprise me, because a lot of these guys, if you listen to how, like in Tibetan, they're talking about Shambhala and everything else. And of course, you got to make that huge trek up the mountains and stuff like that. And you're supposed to be enlightened and everything else. So, yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, they could do their own test cell if they wanted to, right? Just thin the air out and see how they work and get them to work and do all kinds of things and stuff like that. So, yeah. See how they're working it. And as well as I do, I mean, the second you go up a mountain like that, with really thin air, you're going to be like, because your lungs just can't take in enough oxygen, right? But over a course of time, you'd get acclimated to it. I don't think I'd try to run up and down a set of stairs with thin air, especially when you're used to down lower elevations. That may be really tragic. But, yeah. Rachel, you said rockets are a joke. Yeah, like I said, I think it's just like they're the pace setter, right? If we keep showing the public these rockets and stuff like that, well, guess what? They're going to think that's the best our technology has. That's it. They won't think anything else. What's going on behind the scenes, and that's what I think is the deal. And I think they got much more technology. And like I said, I shared with you guys the patents for these anti-gravitational, crafts and stuff like that. That's the real deal right there, guys. It's not these Atlas V rockets and garbage like that. All right, you said very good. I do not think there is a movie. It's about a survivor of a first colonization mission, the first human born on Mars and brought back to Earth by. Oh, okay, rescue mission. All right. Yeah, all right. I'll have to check that out. Oh, yeah, they definitely. Well, I mean, it was Daniel. What you said, you said the German scientists were criminals that came here and got fat contracts. Well, it was also just to kind of keep them in here. So at first they didn't really get a whole lot of anything because they were like, okay, you want amnesty? Well, you're gonna have to work for us. That's pretty much it. And then of course, I'm sure once the more and more they got into it, meaning they started working for us and everything else, then yeah, they got paid and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we had failure after failure until, we were trying to get rockets off the ground. Of course, we had failures like any other country would, right? And of course, like I said, Werner von Braun, when he came here, then, things started, forgive the pun, but taking off. So, yeah. James, you said, bang on, Chris. NASA did not stop going up. No way. Just like you have been saying all the time. I agree with you big time. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't. It's like now somebody just mentioned Elon Musk is not going to like that. Now it's like Elon. He started off almost failed his two companies because he had SpaceX and of course he had Tesla, and he was this close to being like completely bankrupt. But he just kept at it, kept back at it, and make it better, so on and so forth. And he still has quirks and stuff to to work out. The point is, though, that's how you get better. Continuously evolve, get it better, do better, and that's what it's all about, right? And space agencies are no different. You're gonna fail. That's all there is to it. James Gilbert, you said hello from Colorado. What's going on, James? Is it snowing over there yet? What's going on, Noodles? Good to see you in there. Just happened to pass by, I seen you in there. Mike Hoover, what's going on? You said they're using any gravity. You're right. Why spend trillions on liquid fuel craft? They are pumping all of the funds into solar warden ships and maintenance. Excuse me. I gotta love that tea. Oh, um, yeah. I mean, come on. Like I said, if they want to go check out other planets, like I said, they go, listen, why don't we do this? Why don't we just build our rockets, anti gravity, whatever it is we want to build? We can just take off anytime we want to in the middle of the night somewhere, and if it's designed, where it's, radars can't see it, so on and so forth. Who the hell's going to see it? And if it's anti gravity, who's going to hear it? I mean, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Take off and you're going, and you could be anywhere in X amount of time. Right. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Carlos Rogaro. Yeah, he said Elon Musk is not going to be happy or too happy if it turns out that we have UFOs. Well, I mean, on the other side of the token, though, I mean, how do we know he hasn't, you know, he's not already privy to that information? How do we know? With a guy with that kind of stature and that kind of money he's putting into these space agencies and stuff, you can bet he's privy on a lot of that, and he pretty much knows. You know, Nobody's going to be in that deep of with the space agencies and not have a clue. They must be saying, "Oh, come on, guys, what I mean, you help me out here." Of course, I'll take I'll sign the gag order type thing. Don't worry about that. Yep, Alien Tenno, you're right. Musk is NASA's puppy now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're just bedfellows now. I mean, they're working alongside with each other, so on and so forth. So yeah, like I said, you can bet he knows everything that's going on. Photography, light, and magic. You said I think Elon Musk and SpaceX will take over from NASA. Well, what they're doing is they're subcontracting them, right? And it's no different than we have. Like sometimes we'll work with India and so on and so forth to subcontract to them, so they don't have to do it. Think about this a minute. They kind of like lift it off their backs so they don't. If something goes wrong, then they can blame the other space agencies. Like well, I don't know how they seen that out in space. You know what I mean? But because it's somebody else doing their work, they don't have to worry about it. But you could, like I said, you could bet that they all know what's going on. It's like I said, it's like this conglomerate of all these space agencies together. And I don't mean the main branches. I don't mean the regular PR stuff, like the public stuff. I mean the above that, like black ops kind of thing, or the secret part of it. I think they all know what's going on, and they're all working together. I mean, just about everything that NASA's been doing lately, it's literally there's another country involved with it somehow, whether it's putting parts of the rover together, the different cameras, drive systems, whatever it may be. They're all working together to put these things together. And it was no different back in the day when they have different departments building the Apollo capsule, lander, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of them didn't even know what it's for. They say, we're just going to build this. You'd have to make this part and then send it out. So they give like a diagram or some kind of schematic to a machine shop or technical part of that division, and then they build it. And they go, what the heck is this for? Some kind of guidance thing, and they don't think nothing of it, and off it goes. So yeah. Yeah, Shammy. I was talking about that, I think last one and maybe the one prior to that. He said, I read an article with a scientist who quoted as saying that possibility of more planets in our solar system beyond the furthest, which we haven't yet got the technology to explore. And I've been saying this because it's like, where do you say that it's the end of the solar system, right? Like, again, Pluto's supposed to be the ninth planet. Now, of course, it's not. So we got 8.5. We got 8 planets in a rock. But whatever, whatever. It's like, okay, so what happens if there's still a space in between these other planets? Do you stop right there? Or do you say, no, because they're still, revolving around the sun. So therefore, it is part of our solar system. And I think that's what they're finding now. They're looking way out and they go, wait a minute, because we do have another moon out there too. It's an elliptical. We have two moons. The Earth has two moons. And it's got an elliptical, whereas this one here obviously just kind of orbits our Earth, rather. But so now they're starting to find more and more of these. And now it's been 2 or 3 scientists I've heard since the first one, where they also concur, where they're saying, well, yeah, we believe that there is actually more planets in our solar system. So, yeah, I'm not even surprised at all. Cosby, you said technology is advancing. It's only a matter of time before we're found by humans. Elon knows more than he's sharing with the public for now. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There you go. NASA and Skynet. Let's kidnap him and find out. We could do that, because I wouldn't want to get arrested for that after that, because that would be bad. Kidnapping. Donnie Fiske said element 115 officially discovered and added to the periodic table. Bob Lazar said it exists years ago. The element makes speed of light travel possible. Yeah, I was reading a bunch of that too, and I don't know. I mean, I think there's other gases as well, right? Other elements, rather, that contribute to that. But yeah, in a nutshell. And, again, we're listen, guys, we're like in the bottom of the totem pole here. We're like the last to know of any of this. Like I said, secret spacecraft, when Trump came out with, we're going to have the Space Force or whatever. Crap has been going on since I think it was even the late 70s. And then into the middle 80s, they talked about it. And then you never heard another word about it. So, yeah. Yeah, Rachel. Yeah, the government, you said, confirmed that TR-3B, I bet it has a fusion core or element 115 powered core. And yeah, I think you may be right. I mean, again, when you got this fusion, like I said, we were talking about fission propulsion, you've got plasma, so on and so forth. And I think they have these experimental, or at least working now, right? So which one's the better one? And, and if they found the better one, they're just going, well, this is so much better for us. Rockets, what are you kidding me? Think about anti-gravity. What is that? You know what I mean? How much effort are you using to get out of the atmosphere? It's like crazy. It's like, why? You said, hi, what's up? What's going on? Let me see. This thing just jumped up here. Renee. Ooh, bedfellow. Sounds gross. Yes, it's the terminology they used, meaning they're just all in cahoots, basically. That's basically what it comes down to. Well, Renee, yeah, you just said Elon Musk and Sir Richard Branson must be best friends. Yeah, from what I understand, though, they were actually, basically in competition with each other, right? Because if you think about it, isn't it about the almighty dollar bill? At the end of the day, that's what it comes out to. Because, he's claiming, what is he saying? Something like having like some kind of weird resort on the moon. And of course, was it Branson wanted to actually have like basically that's like a 7-minute space flight into the inner atmosphere, just almost going to the outer. But you go up there and it's like 7 minutes. You just go up there in a jet kind of thing, made for space. You go up there, you're there, and then back down. It's like $100,000 just to do that. So it's crazy. No, Jaws D. I mean, you say Branson is a joke. The guys have the money to do it. It's the idea of putting it together. So, it will come true. I mean, there's no doubt about it because if other people, let's say you made $1 million, right? Maybe you're a multi-billionaire and you wanted to pitch into the cause. Well, then you would do that. So, if there's other people like minded like yourself, get more and more stronger as you get together. You build it up, build it up. Next thing you know, you got what you need. And I don't think these guys are too far fetched. It sounds more sci-fi when you really think about it, but the more you think about it, because you go, okay, if the government has these secret spacecraft and everything else, these guys are not that dumb. They can figure it out themselves too and come up with their own spacecraft and propulsions and stuff like that. So I believe they absolutely have stuff and they know about it and they probably built their own stuff. Think about it. You got that kind of scratch. You talk to a private company, hey, build me this, will you? I mean, if I wanted to see, if I was a multi-billionaire, and clearly I don't work for NASA, but if, I'd go, let me just pay somebody to do this. Hey, do me a favor. I want you to build a spacecraft, right? I want it to go to Mars. I want it to take photos. I don't care if it crashes after or goes right by the Mars. I could care less. What I need you to do is go in the lower atmosphere, take photos, good photos, that is, put the creme de la creme of cameras you can find in there, slow the craft down, take photos. And like I said, I don't care what happens after that. Send the photos back, and whatever happens to that craft after, I could give a rat's ass what happens to it. And that's, think about it. Nobody has to know. Send it out wee hours of the morning. What are they going to do? Arrest you? Where did it come from? I don't know. Who owned that craft? I don't know. But it launched and it's off it goes, Because you better hope they don't catch you because they'll be like, oh, what do you think you're doing? I don't think it would matter. As long as you get the answers you wanted, right? That's what it comes down to. Rachel, you said aliens are here and the tethered incident proves it. Yes. You can say it's ice crystals all you want or fake, but let's be honest, that's your delusions. Fact is, we saw hundreds of round pulsating crafts. Yeah, they were both under it and above it. So it wasn't like an ice crystal per se. I forget how big was it. The tether was what? Was it a mile long? I think it was like a mile long, wasn't it, guys? And here you got these spacecraft. That one was huge. It was like underneath it. And I think they said it was like 300 feet wide or something like that. It was huge. So, yeah, I don't believe in that ice crystal crap either. I totally agree with you. Blue Origins, Blue Moon, Carrier, and Lander, Renee says. Yep, absolutely. I mean, Watcher, you said, looks so fake, it must be real. Who said that? Elon Musk. Jump down here. James, you said, Chris, I listened to 2 hours of Art Bell, rest in peace. Yeah, he was a good guy. On Coast to Coast Radio with a guy that was involved with the Philadelphia experiment, and he swears that the N Tesla was involved with failed attempt also. Well, I mean, I seen the movie way back in the day, and that was freaky, man. That was totally crazy. And they were just all they were trying to do is try to make it like Cloak, right? I think it was like magnetic waves or something like that. They were just trying to like surround the warship, and come to find out, it's like it literally went from one part of the harbor to the other, but they actually traveled through time. And when these guys came back, they were like halfway in the hull and out of the floor. I was gonna say spacecraft, the ship itself, and that was just crazy. It was a good movie, and I think that even came out in the 80s. Really good movie. Brian Norton, he said, what's up? My peep, first time in 4 weeks checking in on Lifetime. Well, good to have you in there, Brian. Stephen Porter, you put on here, how are we going to send astronauts to Mars if they don't have artificial gravity on the spaceship? Because when they arrive, they won't be able to walk, let alone walk on Mars. Well, it's kind of like the ISS, if you think about it, right? There's really no gravity there. And yet, they'll tie themselves down to treadmills and keep themselves active so you don't get atrophy in the muscles and stuff like that. So it's really no different than the ISS. The difference is, I mean, there is a time as far as time-wise, but as long as I'm sure they can figure out a way to do that where, and I'm not even sure to be truthful, other than exercise, keep the muscles active, and like I said, if you ever seen them exercise on the ISS, they literally are strapped down to these things when they're exercising. So And as long as they do that, they won't lose muscle mass and they should be able to walk on Mars. Although I believe you're right in a sense, because I think they will have problems, but I don't know. This is the reason why they're trying to leave people on the ISS longer and longer. You remember that when they had the twin brothers? One of them was on the ISS, and of course the other one was on Earth, and I forget his name off the top of my head. But he came back, and they said even one part of his DNA changed. Now I don't know how true that is, but that's what they said. And so he has changed a little bit, which is really wild. But I strongly believe I think they can, and if they work hard enough at it, maybe I don't know if there's something. I mean, they can't put him in a cryo sleep. I don't think we can do that quite yet. We can freeze eggs and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as a whole body and then bring them back and all that other BS, who knows though, right? It's hard to tell. Renee said, Parker Solar Satellite spaceship that's supposed to touch the surface of the sun. Yeah, that's already been launched, though, I believe, right, Renee? And it's supposed to see, because it's basically like a plasma. And so I'd be interested to see what happens to that. That'd be interesting. That'd be cool to see. No, Noodles, it's supposed to actually check it out. It's supposed to be it's supposed to, I don't know if it's supposed to measure the composition of gases being, put off by the sun, how hot it's actually supposed to get, whatever. I haven't really got into it super deeply to actually know exactly what it is, but I know that some of that is some of the experiments. I'd be curious to see exactly the results as well. Because you put on there, what's with the Parker anyway? Is it coming back with sunshine in a bottle? Could be. But no, I mean, all kidding aside, but I think that's what it's supposed to be doing. Some kind of it's got different experiments it's supposed to be doing. I know that. And like I said, I'd be curious. I'm going to need to read up a little bit more on it myself, but I think that's a couple of the experiments it's supposed to be doing. Valerie Hagbarth, he said, I like Elon Musk. I think he's smart and well-thought person. Would love to know what he knows. I wonder if he's a part of the NASA group or just works with them. I think he's just working with them. Because again, they start off with subcontracting him out to get, because he takes, his spacecraft and his rockets, his reusables, and he uses, and he brings supplies to the ISS. So, yeah, he's definitely subcontracted to him. Now, how deep he is, I don't know. But you can bet he pretty much knows a lot of the stuff that's going on there. I think he's a very smart guy myself. I like Elon. If I can meet him in person, I shake his hand too. I mean, all these people start off, some people say, oh, these people like kooks, and stuff like that. They come out with these things. That'll never happen. Oh, crap. And, but for a guy who comes out and basically the maker of Tesla, builds his own electric motors, does his own in-house stuff, and then says, by the way, the patents are open to anybody. Why would you do that? Unless you're trying to better the planet in some way. So by getting this stuff, now a lot of these car companies are literally taking his material because he said there is no patents. In other words, you can just take the patents and do whatever you want. So he's leaving it open out to the public so everybody can have this stuff. I think that's awesome, for a guy to do that. Dawn has broken. He said, we already have that stuff. Ben Rich disclosed. Mm-hmm. Rich, you said rotating craft is not the future. A gravity wave generator is that produces gravity from the waves and electricity. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen. Well, I can't knock this microphone over. When I showed you guys of the pages of that, the wave generator and stuff like that, or the anti-gravity stuff like that, what it is like they said there's like a space between hulls, and there's like gases and stuff like that, and they put electricity through them and everything else, and all these weird intricate workings. And yeah, I mean, they're not even going to bother with this trash. And here's the thing. If they do have crafts that can get to Mars in instead of 6 to 9 months, they can do it within an hour, let's say. Anti-gravity, I mean, you can literally, at speed of light or whatever. Let's say it takes, I'm going to say 24 hours. Let's just say, just throw a number, just a crazy number. Could be real low, could be very high. Who knows? Who cares? The whole thing is, if they can get there in an amount of time that's way less than 6 to 9 months, think about this. Why would you need to worry about muscle atrophy? You'd be there in no time. So you can get there in no time. So I don't think that'd be an issue. So think about it. They're going to try to get the best propulsion they can get to get them there as fast as they can. So now you've hurdled all of those problems that you would think, okay, if it took them that long to get there, could we put them in cryo sleep? Can we build something that's cryo sleep? Can we get them there? Can we, what will happen once they get there? Because you can bet they won't be able to walk once they get there if it takes 6 to 9 months to get there. Just crazy stuff. So if you can get there in so much quicker time, you've hurdled all of those problems. You don't have to worry about it. No alien Tano. No, just time zones. He said people don't believe in time travel. Yet I'm in UK. Chris is in US. Other people here in Australia. All different time zones. Yet all talking at the same time. Is this time travel? No, like I said, I think it's just time zones, and it's just because that's it. You're nighttime. Well, I'm nighttime now because it's 6 o'clock. It's getting dark here now. Well, should be just about dark now. Thanks to the turning back the clocks. But yeah, it's kind of weird if you really do think about it, because if you were to fly from Australia to here, you have jet lag because you went through how many time zones. So I guess in a technical sense, you could say it's kind of like that, right? Kind of makes sense. Nacho's in the house. What's going on, Nacho Libre? Woohoo, we live. Highlight of the week. Supreme Ruler, have you seen the video on how the Space Edge Starlink looks in the night sky? Yes. In fact, I have the page up here right now, and they're talking about how that, let me see if I can figure it out here. Just refresh the page. Why asses, right. Why astronomers worry about the brightness of SpaceX's Starlink satellite mega constellation. And you can see that. I'll give you guys the link there. It's pretty cool because I actually have a picture of it showing how people are like literally seeing the reflection, I guess, from the sun reflecting off these things. You can just see a line of these things in the sky. I'm going to drop the link now. You guys can check that out. It's pretty cool. Nope, just jumped on me here again. Let's see. Let me see here. Well, this went a little too far down. Plus, I like what Elon says, and this is Valerie Hackbot saying this. Plus, I like what Elon says about AI. I think the same as he does regarding AI. Eventually, I can see it turning into something bad. First thing will be it's going to take massive amount of jobs to start. Yeah, I mean, I think it's way off, but I think, well, we're starting to already get that, right? I mean, they're trying to build these things and, trying to artificial intelligence. I mean, if you really think about it, your computers are kind of that same way. The only difference is they're not getting to do any kind of task, right? Other than just finding information and instantly doing whatever you want to bring up. Boom, it's right there. But to have it work on its own, yeah, he's worried about it's going to be runaway, right? He's worried about like, AI, start building robots and stuff. And of course, the military will start doing that. It'll turn on us, turn into like a Skynet kind of thing going on, like in the Terminator. I think to be a little bit smarter than that. If it's software driven, if it's something like a module you put into the thing and say, well, if the thing goes haywire, we'll just pull it out. And I think the AI could do that itself and say, well, we're going to take care of that. I don't know, because it'd have to be like multiple, security type things on it, right? So fail safes, like something goes wrong, well, we have another fail safe. So this way we can make sure we can shut the thing down if we had to. I mean, it literally had to be like solid kind of backup something or other, because you can just imagine that actually coming true. That would be crazy, right? George, you make a great point. You said, what I believe is there is no human life on Mars. Otherwise, the rovers wouldn't have survived that much in Mars without being confiscated. Think about it, fellows. Well, how about, though, if the Martians not very big. What kind of shot do they have it like a rover? And keep in mind, the rover actually has a laser which you can blast into dirt and into sand. Can you imagine what that thing can do to flesh? So, is that thing also, you know, out itself to protect itself? How do we know? It may not be. It may be simply just that's it for scientific work and that's it. Um, and that would be fine. But if it was, hypothetically, then, these, let's say these little Martians weren't very big. What kind of shot do they have against this thing? And let's say they don't have any kind of high tech anything, and they're just like in the, prehistoric historic times like we'd have here. Well, they could throw rocks at it, I guess. I mean, so I don't know. Um, it's hard to tell. No way of knowing. Rock, stop. You said, hi, Chris, late coming in. Just wanted to know your thoughts on the men in black who they work for. It would have to be top, like CIA, top military brass kind of thing going on. And because if they call the shots on what these space agencies can let out, and maybe that's all these space agencies, that's their boss, meaning the military itself, and I believe that's the case, then yeah, I mean, that's where that would come from. So in other words, if anybody tried to go against them, supposedly this Men in Black would come and pay you a visit, or somehow you would disappear, or somehow your brakes would go bad in your car. We don't know how that happened. You went right straight off a cliff. Um, so yeah. Billy Carson, what's happening on there? What's going on, bro? Good to see you in there. You said good to see you're doing your thing. Yes, sir. I'm glad to see you doing yours as well, man. I've been following your stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Got to have you on soon, by the way. Hey guys, how many guys have asked, hey, can we have Billy Carson back on the show? Say, yay, what's up? Um, I don't know how many times people, oh man, I loved your show when you had him on. He's very informative, and he is. Absolutely. Love to have you back on there, Billy. Oh, that's Phil Cox going there. Renee, you said all of a sudden, 11 p.m. MIBs heard big crash outside Area 51. It was the same spaceship crash landing with a pilot was still alive but broke both of his legs. UFO time machine went backwards in time. I don't know about all that. Haven't heard about that. UFO legit. You said time travel does not exist because the universe is not bound to our created perception of reality. Yeah, it's kind of like if you watch the time machine itself, right? It's kind of the same thing. Remember when he gets his answer and he says, the only reason why you built your time machine was because of what happened to his soon to be wife, right? So he says, if she hadn't died, you wouldn't have built the time machine. So how could you possibly go back in time? So it's kind of this weird thing in your head, but if you think about it, yeah. Stephen Porter, you said, has the problem of dust from the moon or Mars been solved when the starship is going to land, as it's very static and will cling to the ship? Well, it's kind of like what they had done to the Opportunity rovers, and I believe every rover has this. I could be wrong, because I know they did it for the Opportunity as well as Spirit rover, which is the sister rovers, right? And what they did is they put like an anti-static, like sleeve, if you will, like a surface on the solar panel. So if it got dust on it, the electrostatic charge would literally repel this dust right off the solar panels. And this is the reason why people are like, oh my God, somebody was up there cleaning them. No. They could do that by themselves, but they also had like these windstorms that would literally blow this stuff clean right off of the thing. And if you think about it, if it's not wet, the dust is not wet, then why would it take so much to blow it off? If you really think about it. So it's really not hard to comprehend or believe that it could be knocked off, right? Valerie Harborough says, Billy, I see the civilization that and there is a lot of a lot of the gigapans. They couldn't take down the rover. In some pics, looks like they are looking at it. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen that too. Where it looks like there's like, it almost looks like people have described what looks like little, Martians, or we'll call them what you will, humanoids or whatever, looking out, like peeking out at the rover. I personally don't see that, and I tell you guys that a lot. I really don't see these things, but I do see what looks like smaller objects that these smaller beings could use. Like we talked about that video, that Mars one I did, where it looked like there was uh, what is it? Looks like small toys. Now they're either toys or something these people are using, and if that's the case, they're extremely small. And if they're not, then they're toys. One way or the other, they're either very big, like our size, or these things are, the humanoids or these Martians are very small. Which one is it, right? Marky0306. Hello. Hello, right back at you, Marky. Good to see you in there. Ian Walton, sorry. Gravity is a combination of two forces. If you divert the force pushing down, then you have one force pushing up, and there you have anti-gravity. Well, it's kind of like a magnet, like magnetics, right? You put North Pole to South Pole, and they repel. It's kind of the same way. Of course, different technology, but you get the idea, right? Libby Terrell says that Billy Carson, Forbidden Knowledge, just watched your Contact in the Desert lecture yesterday. Excellent. Yeah, I've seen a few of his stuff too, and of course, I know Billy personally. We've actually hung out a few times. Last time we couldn't because he was busy. He was doing his thing. Jumping from state to state. He's always in the air. But yeah, I missed him last time when I went down to Florida to see him. But understandable, he's busy. But I'd love to have him back on here if we could. He is very busy, but if we can get him on here for an hour show, that'd be cool. Brian Norton, you said interesting, very small Martians. Never thought of that far ahead. Valerie, you said, Chris, it's all over the place. Saw a lot of them in your last Mars video. Can't know about their size. They just seem small. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, like I said, from the things I've seen, they appear that way. These things would have to be that way. I mean, they can't be all toys, right? Doesn't make much sense. So at some point, these things are either very small, and what kind of threat would they pose to people our size? Think about that. What kind of, think about it. It's almost like stomping on an anthill. So, that's probably why we're all over the planet, because we're thinking, what are they going to do to us? What are they going to do? Basically, the bullies of the planet, right? Stephen Porter, you said what we really need is a joint effort from every space agencies to build a spaceship in space, so that that way it can be big enough for interstellar missions and act as a mothership or orbit around Mars, if they don't already have it. But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. That's I mean, there's so many countries wanting to do this now, right? It's almost like, because we want to be spacefaring, meaning people ourselves to go out in space. We've already got all kinds of crafts and everything else and all this other stuff out there. So that's not like that's new stuff. We've been doing this for years. But if we can get a spacecraft, which they want to build, I mean, think about it. How did we build the ISS? We took it up piece by space shuttles, right? So, we started putting it together, and now we got one that's a little bit bigger than a football field. Pretty large. And so why couldn't they do that to a spaceship? And have they already done that? That's the key question. Could very well have. Yeah, you make a great point. Photography, Light, and Magic. You said he was actually answering Phil, but you said every single one. I think the rover is drilling into artificial material like paving. Well, if you look, you see like what looks like concrete, man. You can see like thick slabs of what look like concrete. Of course, you can see rock. There's layered rock and everything else. But then every now and then you can see like this really thick and it's like white, like a cement type thing, or just it just boom slabs laying on the ground. What's that all about? Now I'm not saying rock can't be that color because clearly they can be, but sometimes you see that it's got a perfect 90-degree angle and it's just slab laying on the ground. I don't know. Rachel says, "Love your chat. You guys are great." Well, it's include yourself in that, Rachel, because everybody here is like it's. This is why I look forward to this stuff. This is awesome. Which reminds me, I've got a question to ask you guys. What do you guys think about moving this to Saturday? And the reason why I'm asked is two reasons. One for you guys and one for myself. And the reason is a lot of you guys say, "Man, I love it. It's like the end of a good weekend. We get to see the hangout. It's awesome." But then a lot of you guys are saying, "Man, I got to go to bed. It's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning." So it would help you guys, one, to have to jump ship. People in the East Coast are the same way. Once we get off, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 8, right? Oh, I got to get ready for bed. Guys, have a good night. I'm out. And it's good that you guys show up and come in, and have a good chat and everything. But wouldn't it be better if you didn't have to go do anything the next day, meaning on Sunday? And the other thing is, for me, I work 6 days a week, and it'd be awesome to have that Sunday off. So what do you guys think? Yay or nay on having it on Saturday, same time? Or if you wanted to make it a little bit later, you could do it either way you want to do it. Would that work for you guys? Oh, ladies and gents, we'll use that. I actually had a person get offended at me at one time. They said, "Well, we're not all, we're not all guys. It's just a figure of speech. I promise. No disrespect to the ladies." Oh yeah, John Devon, gotta have it. Sweet tea. Yeah. Let's see. X Hines, you said if Martians do exist based on the size of Mars, they would be about 4 to 5 feet. Well, but what if they had less gravity back in the day? So would they be taller? Now, scientists say yes, they would be taller and spindly. Unlike us, they'd be a lot taller. So you go, okay. So they say it was a lot like Earth, but they can't really say just how much the gravity was. They don't know how dense the atmosphere was. They just have this, this theory, or this hypothesis rather, that, this is what they believe. Now, I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, if it is less gravity, then I think you would actually be taller. And, like I said, a lot of scientists believe that our bodies now are geared to what Mars is today. So in other words, because I think it's a hair over 24-hour day. I think it's like 40 minutes past Earth. And if you had less gravity back in the day, you probably wouldn't have all the problems you have with your back and everything else, because you'd have less gravity. So therefore, less pushing down on your skeletal, right? So yeah, I don't know. But they might very well be 4 to 5 feet or less. I see. You said, Chris, for sure you've seen JLW deep space vehicles. I find it amazing. Trying to remember exactly what that is. I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, try to elaborate on that, because it sounds familiar, but maybe maybe it's not familiar. I don't know. Stephen Barber, you said there are already multiple ISS as staging points for Mars missions. Well, yeah, they want to do that, or to me, this makes more sense, right? Wouldn't it be better to either set up the ISS to do this, or build its own like launch pad? Meaning, if you had your own craft other than the ISS, something similar to that, only difference is it just has a place to dock a ship, and then it just takes off and it comes back. So in other words, all we need to do is bring up fuel to it and supplies to this little station. The craft is now there. It's docked. It gets its fuel, gets everything it needs, and it takes off and comes back. It wouldn't use nearly the fuel because it's already away from, or pretty darn close to away from, the gravitational pull of the Earth. So how much fuel will it need to do that? If you build it out in space and it's a good sized craft, it doesn't have to go from the ground to where that point of that the station is. It just has to go from there out. So how much fuel have you already saved? Even if you're using, just rockets or some crap, right? How much fuel have you saved? Tons. And all they got to do is just bring the fuel up back and forth on much smaller craft. So it doesn't take a whole lot. Fuel that up, keep fueling it, and then and once it's full, there you go. Or it's completely different propulsion and they wouldn't have to worry about that crap at all. All they'd have to do is bring up supplies to it. And all it has to do is come back and dock, get the supplies, and then go back. You know? Custom Tailor One, you said, as long as you keep it on the weekends. Yeah, absolutely. Cosmo, you said, I'm on with Saturdays as well. Betsy Richardson, what's up? What's going on, Betsy? Somebody else just said, Saturdays would be good for me. This thing just jumped up on me, so I didn't see the name. It's like I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and it just takes off. Stephen Porter, he says it's 23:21. Yeah, so it's pretty late there here in Wales, UK. I'm up at 4 for work, but I'm good to hang out for a while. Well, see, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to accommodate you guys as well because it would make more sense. And picture it now. Let's say it was 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. You wouldn't care, right? So it would actually be better for you guys as well. No, I haven't thought about that supreme rule you put on there. Have you tried using the YouTube poll tool? I could do that. That's why I figured I'd just get a yay or nay here. Cosmo ladies, gents, and aliens. Where are they? Digger says Saturday will work. Nacho, yeah, and that's true. I mean, a lot of you guys are all the same way as like I am. You try to very informative. You do your own research. That's what makes everybody here special. It's not about because they're on my on my Hangout, so they're special. No, it's not about that at all. What I love about everybody gets along. Everybody talks amongst themselves. Very knowledgeable. A lot of people have done their own homework. Again, I mean, there's things you guys have brought up. I'm not even sure about it, but I'm going to, and that's what it's all about, learning, right? So yeah. You put on there Nacho, you said, what I love is a lot of the people here know a lot, but at the same time, they're very open minded and don't judge others. Yeah, I mean, because nobody could say, let's like when I do the videos, okay, guys, when I say, all right, I believe this is, let's say I say, okay, this object is 100% a phone. Well, I can tell that because I can actually see that. I can feel it. I can touch it. I can show it to you guys. We can analyze it, but you can't do that on Mars. I say, it looks like there's a iPhone 7 laying on on the Martian surface. But there's no way to vet any of it. It's what I keep saying because there's really no way of knowing. So is there a right answer or a wrong answer? No. We don't know. This is the reason why you'll see give you everybody gets like a hot because in other words, I've acknowledged your comments and because any one of us could be right. But I'm also acknowledging you too, just so you know, because I can give you a simple, thumbs up, but you don't know where it came from. So when you see that next to your name, I've acknowledged it. I've read your comment, and sometimes I'll comment back. But guys can see I get quite a bit of comments, right? So I can't get to everybody. I tried to, but the whole idea is it's like I read them. We all learn. It's a learning curve. It's what it comes down to. So that's why I said, man, I think I got the best Hangout ever. Suzanne Ann, you said yes because it helps your channel. Yes. Well, I like to get the consensus because I think it's only fair, right? I think it would work for everybody to be truthful with you because doesn't it make sense? Because if it helps you guys, it's like, well, I like to hang out later, but for some reason I can't. Well, not for some reason, you got to go to work. So you're kind of like, well, I got to jump ship, man. I got to go. So, just so it makes it better for you guys, if it works for you guys, it works for me. It's a win-win, right? Alien 10, you said less gravity, less body mass. As far as wide ways, I mean, but you can grow taller because of less gravity, where it's always pulling down on your body. Now, just imagine not having that gravity. What would happen if we took you and threw you on Mars for a while? Would your all of your, let's say you had aches and pains in your back, would that be alleviated because now it's no longer pulling down on your body? It's now, your body's actually just like it's fine again. It doesn't have all that, force pulling you down. And I think you might have less body mass as far as any kind of fat meaning, but you may be taller and therefore look more spindly. So yeah, it's kind of like that remote viewing that guy did when they had him, talk about it. And they talked about tall, spindly, Martian kind of thing, where they said they're very tall, very skinny, but they didn't say. But can you imagine him being like us? This guy being like us, but then talking to these Martians, he's probably looking up and go, okay, they could be 7 feet tall. How do we know? Shimmy Duda, he said, Chris, how did you get into the anomalies about aliens, etc.? What was your inspiration? And Saturday is cool. Well, here's the thing. I've been doing these. I've been checking into these photos long before I was doing videos, right? And especially the Apollo, stuff like that. And then, I just kind of dabble in it here and there. And one day, like I said, I was watching a couple videos. Michael Witter, which is from the UK, he no longer does them. He hasn't been doing them for, I want to say 6 years now. I'm sure he's just went on with his life and did whatever. And Will Ferrara from What's Up in the Sky 37. And like I said, it wasn't so much the anomalies that caught my eyes as the things that they missed. And I don't mean that they were stupid and didn't see them. I'm saying the stuff that was covered up. Like when I can see, like I said, the lines are there, but something's been put over it, an overlay over this object, or it's been completely taken out, some kind of airbrushed or some kind of, the way they take this part of this photo and just drop it on this one, and that's what caught my eye. I saw everything they were talking about, and they were absolutely correct, and that's what caught my eye to begin with. But then I saw something like outline what looked like some kind of block, and yet there was something totally over it, like they put that orange color over it to try to hide it, but yet you could still see the actual, shape of this object, whatever it was. Right? That's what caught my eye. That's what made me start doing this. This is the reason why I uncover these anomalies as opposed to just finding the simple ones that are out there. Right? You'll see me take apart these photos and try to bring out what's actually hidden in the photos. And that's what caught me. And that's the reason why I wanted to do these. And that's how I started off. But I was always into these photos, always looked at them and said, oh, these are pretty interesting. I'd love to be able to do them. And then I just decided to do the videos. Less sweet. That's a good comment. And it leads me to it's kind of like segues into this other topic I was going to talk about. Less sweet. You said, Earth apparently has less gravity in the time of the dinos. Not sure how dramatically it was different, though. Well, it's hard to tell, right? If that was true, maybe that's the reason why those darn things are so damn big. Not all of them were, but you get stegosauruses and triceratops and all kinds of creatures like that. These dinos like that. But then, of course, you had the smaller ones and stuff like that. Raptors weren't as big, so on and so forth. But interesting, you made a point. You made. Let me see if I can find this here. And this kind of is like off topic, but it's not, because it says a NASA scientist's incredible animation shows how dinosaurs roam the Earth on the other side of the Milky Way. Have you guys read that? Now, what it talks about, and it makes absolute sense. Think about this. They're saying that we have our solar system, right? And of course, all the planets orbit around our star, our sun. Well, our sun is also doing that. It's also orbiting in the galaxy itself. Which brings me to my next point. How do we know? Because like we talked about the moon, right? We talked about how the ancients talked about how there wasn't a moon at some point. Now, that's one point. Did we pick it up on somewhere else in the galaxy? If it was our solar system was literally moving around the galaxy, is it possible we picked it up over there somewhere? If that's what happened, meaning there was a time when there's no moon. Now, also, was Mars taken out? If it is millions of years ago, was it taken out then when it was around the other side, or maybe some other part in the galaxy? Maybe that happened. If the nuclear war happened, or something catastrophic happened, or maybe they had because we speculate that maybe it had a war with another, I'm going to use the term alien for lack of a better word, but if that happened, were we close enough to another civilization and then they warred with them? How do we know? Because I thought about that. I'm saying, well, that makes kind of sense. But then I thought about, wow, that opens up a lot of implications because it can imply that, you know, again, maybe we were closer to another solar system at the time. And then, of course, we'd be there for millions of years and we had interaction with those planets and whatever else. And then that's what we're seeing now. Now that we're way over here, and of course, it's millions of years later, now we're seeing just remnants of these things on these planets. So they moved on from this solar system, moved on. Maybe they got closer to another solar system where they can actually move on to that one, just jump over it like a lily pad and jump onto it. Is that possible? You guys can check this thing out. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, this address is not too darn long. I'm going to go ahead and drop it down here so you guys can check it out. Yeah, it's 206. It's only 200 characters you can put up there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave these right here. At the very beginning, guys, just put in the HTTPS at the very beginning of this this address I'm about to drop on you guys. Well, still can't do it. Okay, we'll get rid of the two little colons here, the dots. So then you'd have this right here. Whoops. Hate when that happens. And of course you'd have, whoops. You'd have this at the beginning of the address. I said I couldn't get the whole address in there, so I had to. But that's what you'd have in the beginning of that address. Just put it in the very beginning and then put that in there. And it, like I said, it says right there, NASA scientists' incredible animation shows how dinosaurs roamed the Earth on the other side of the Milky Way. And I think that's pretty cool. I see what Rachel was replying to you, MC Gaming. Said, I get called crazy all the time by my colleagues at work, but I just say, open your mind, big universe out there, and like Rachel was just saying to you, because I'm going to miss this. She said that's usually because people stick themselves in a box with ignorance, which stops their creativity and potential intellect. Well, and that's the thing, they don't think outside the box. Now, that doesn't mean they have to believe every crazy thing that's out there. However, on the other side of the token, they're very closed-minded because it's a regular humdrum life. Get up in the morning, crap, shower and shave, have a breakfast, run out the door, do your job, come back, whatever, cook your meal, sit down, watch TV, repeat the next day. So they don't think outside the box. They don't take the time to think about that. And to me, that's crazy. And that's sad because, just by looking up at the stars, man, it just makes you feel big inside. It really does. Small, but yet big at the same time, because you're looking out there going, man, I know there's more than just us out there. I know there is. And then you just go, man, I just feel so small because you're on this like little speck of dust compared to the universe. And I still think that's crazy because I was reading this article on how they were talking about how they're trying to find the edge of the universe. They went, how do you find the edge of infinity? I don't think that, and like I said, I don't think the brain can comprehend that because it's something that does not stop. There's no end to it. What? I mean, even if you could say, okay, there's planets out there, but then somehow they stop and they're a lot more sporadic where you don't see a whole lot of anything, that doesn't mean space itself ends. It just means that the planets haven't filled that area yet. Because if it is still expanding, right? So wouldn't it make more sense to say, well, I think they said the universe was always, meaning it's just there. And you got the darkness of space. It's not a room, man. There's no edge to it. It's just infinity. It's just there. How do you wrap your mind around that? That's what's crazy. Elohim Daleth. It's a good point. There's still a mystery of at least Mars and the Moon. What happened or is happening at those locales, war or natural disaster, or time itself has caused just remains to be seen. And you're right. I mean, we're only speculating because we're putting pieces together, trying to build this puzzle to try to figure out what happened. And I'm sure NASA's way ahead of that. And I'm sure they know all the answers. That's the reason why they're there, right? They're on the moon. They're over here. They're over there. So they know what's going on. And, we're just, as the public, we're trying to piece this together to figure it out, right? So, yeah. Marilyn Fraser, you said, brilliant. Love your explanation of our galaxy traveling far and wide. Well, yeah, because if we're still expanding due to red drift and everything else, we're still expanding, then it makes sense to me that at some point, if everything started, all the planets are going outward, wouldn't it be an area where there's a void or just nothing at all? But that doesn't mean darkness of space stops. It's not like this, like, oh, there you go. Here's the wall. All right, we're done. I don't know how they could come up with that. Space is space. It's like it's like boom. There is no end to it. And if you try to think of that, because like I said, get up and walk in your house right now. You're gonna walk into a wall. I can walk right here. There's a wall. So your mind knows limitations. You get into your car, shut the door, you drive. You can slam into a pole, or you can just get to work on one piece. So there's limitations. Something's always there. But now all of a sudden, if you could fly out in space like Superman and just keep flying around the planet, where does it end? There is no end. And they say, well, we're trying to find the edge of the universe. Good luck with that. I just don't know how you can do that. Exactly, alien antenna. You've got to expand into something. MC Gaming said, agreed, Chris. Most people can't or don't even think about it. I think it's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, how do you not? I mean, it's almost like a calling, right? You just kind of like you just know something's there at the back of your mind going, you can feel it. It's like you just know it's there. Like you're part of something much larger. And if you don't feel that way, I mean, what's the highlight of your life? Ooh, I went to the club last Friday and got so shit faced I fell down and broke the urinal off the wall. Ooh, you know what I mean? It's like, I got plenty of friends have done that, believe me. And they'll come into work bragging about it. They go, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? Research. Oh man, dude, you're boring. That's all right, though. I'm good. I'm completely fine. Where's that one here? It'd be nice to also see the what is it? The James Webb Space Telescope finally get out there. It says, and I don't know if you guys have seen this picture of this thing, but it said this is how colossal NASA's new Hubble Space Telescope successor is, and it literally shows this crane and this guy's up on he's on a bucket, right? He's in a bucket, and you can see the size of this thing. All you see is the actual dish part of it, but you don't actually see the actual bottom part to it. And this thing is actually mega huge. And what's funny about it is like this thing was supposed to be already done within Christ. It was supposed to be what 2 or 3 years ago, and they keep delaying it. If anybody's interested in that, which it'll probably be too long for that too, probably. Let me just check it out. Let me see. Let's go ahead and copy that. Like I said, it'll probably be way too long. Of course it is. Anyway, it's on Mashable site, and you can put on there. You can actually type that in. How colossal NASA's new Hubble telescope. Oh, we'll just put the James Webb telescope, and you can see it's got Grumman, the name Grumman on the wall. Really interesting stuff here. I guess we can get rid of that. See, and that's not going to work. All right. Let me see. Nope. Okay. Yeah, that's sweet. The line must be drawn here. This far no further, Captain Picard. Yeah, the line must be drawn here. Mountain Bermudas. You said, "Hi, Chris. So Planet X could be part of the overlapping neighbor solar system. What do you think?" From what they were saying, that it's actually part of our solar system, which runs in a 3,600 year elliptical orbit. So they believe it's part of ours. Now, is it possible that it's an elliptical in another? And this is the reason why somehow it still comes into our solar system. That's a possibility. But you'd have to have the solar system pretty much, like you said, overlapping. You'd have to have it pretty darn close to be able to do that. So, in other words, slingshotting from that solar system into ours, possibility. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is the reason why they're saying, "Oh, we don't see it." Well, maybe it's not in our solar system. Maybe it's in another. And because it is so close, it overlaps. And you're talking 3,600 years, big difference, you know? Rachel, he said, it's like we live in a dream on this planet, but we are not aware of how fake everything is. Well, I mean, yeah, I just can't imagine. I mean, I don't know how you guys started off, but like I said, back in the day, maybe when you were kids, like I said, ever since I was a kid, I mean, and said sixth grade, they said, okay, everybody come in with their own little costume. And like I said, I was dressed up as an Apollo, um, astronaut kind of thing. And I had a working walkie talkie, had the mic over here and everything else. And, just put it together, cardboard boxes, made it look cool and everything else. And I've always been like that. It's almost like it's already like embedded in you to just think this way. I don't know. How'd you guys start off with that? Is it something that happened to you very similar, or is it just something you got into later on in life? How'd that work for you guys? Yeah, Brian, exactly. Breaking off urinals. Yeah. Um, some of the stories these guys would tell is just insane. Rockstop, you said in a Chris NASA cover up pics with blurring, but seem to leave a clue knowing their channels like yours that can pick them out. So why bother with the blur? Well, I think it's kind of like a breadcrumb. Like I said, they kind of like just leaving it there. Like they'll block out a whole bunch of crap in that, and most of it may be hell. It may be some photos, maybe 80% just garbage. Right? It's just all put on there. Um, so you know, but they leave like a something that's not actually covered, and that's the whole idea, right? Let me silence this thing. This way, it won't be bothering me here. So anyway, so that's what I think is happening. I think it's like I said before. It's almost like NASA goes, "Listen, we'll let this stuff out slowly, but what we're going to do is the people who really are inquisitive and want to know, they'll find it. They'll look for it and they'll find it." And a lot of you people have said, "Chris, you wouldn't believe what I found in this photo," and it'd be amongst all kinds of blur and garbage. But guess what? There's something right there. Like other people, like on Facebook, they have all these groups, and they'll find what look like perfectly made blocks, all kinds of weird things, just really wild. And yet, the rest of the photo's garbage. So how's that? How does that make sense? Oop. God, I hate it when it does this. Alien Tenor, you said in 1970 I was 6. Watched Star Trek, and boom, that's for me. And that's what I did. I mean, that's another thing. It got me going. It was like Star Trek, Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, and I'm talking about the original stuff, of course. Even I don't know if you guys remember. You remember Arc 2? You guys remember that? Anything that had to do with like these, like technologically, like it was almost like a glorified RV where they had like a little chimp and had this Asian girl on there. You guys ever see that show? It was Arc 2, and I think it was only on for like 2 seasons, I think. 2, 3 seasons, maybe. It was kind of short lived, but nevertheless, it was actually a pretty cool show. But anything like that, yeah, I was cool with. Michael Stark, you said if galaxies are within the universe, then what is the universe within? Probably we can't understand it, but doesn't mean it doesn't go further or isn't encapsulated into something else. And that's what I'm saying. How do we really know that? I mean, to say that, it's like, I don't know. It's like saying, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to stop that oxygen from moving. What? You just can't do that. There's no way you could do that. And for them to say, well, we're going to try to find the edge of the universe. You're looking for a corner? I mean, I don't understand how they could do that. Chris, that's classified info. Shh, don't say nothing. Josh D said I had sci-fi and space mad parents, and it grew from there. But I mean, it does spark the imagination. But now the stuff we think is imagination is probably all real, and that's what's crazy about it. It starts off as these just like these little sci-fi flicks and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, boom! You know what I mean? It's kind of like them Stargates. When you see Stargate, the movie itself. Have you guys watched the movie itself? That was cool. When I first saw that, and I just thought that was neat. Stephen Porter, you said if Pluto is not a planet, why isn't Titan described as a planet as it's big enough? True. Great question. Brian Norton, you said anyone feel like a space nerd talking with your friends about this stuff? They look at you like you're on your own planet and weird as shit. However, I look at them feeling sorry for them. Exactly. Well, they kind of look at you like, okay, he seems really knowledgeable, but what the hell is he going on about? But they just don't know. They don't because they're not entrenched in it. They're just really not, really getting into it. And that's the thing. Um, they just don't give it a second thought. Lost in Space is another one. Yes, Renee. Rockstop, you said, there you go. Here's a perfect example, right? Big thanks. Love your channel and Hangout. Got to go up to 5 o'clock. Have you all right, man. Have yourself a good day and thanks for stopping in. Good week coming up, too. So, again, guys, why don't we try to do that? Let's move this. Let's move this to Saturday at the same time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. What do you think? We'll do that. And this way it works out for everybody. And this way here, people, like Rockstop can actually stay longer if they wanted to, and so on and so forth. And I know people here on the East Coast have said the same thing. Man, I just get prepared for bed, and then that's it, hit the sheets. So, it'd probably work out for everybody. Mr. Gossman says, night, Chris. Got to sleep. Good stuff. All right, man. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, P&K, didn't even realize you're in there. Must have jumped in there quick. He said, okay, good discussion, peeps. Time to stream. Everyone take care. All right, man. Keep on doing what you guys are doing over there. You guys are doing awesome work. I send everybody over there I can. They want to see the real moon. There's a channel. Go see it. Stop over there and have a look. P&K Space Imaging. Check them out. They're always live. Always doing different, what the hell is that? Okay. This thing came on by itself. The light started going crazy on me. But anyway, they got the different size telescopes, all kinds of stuff. Check them out. Good channel. I watch them when I'm not doing anything. I just kind of chill and just watch them myself. Stephen Barbie said, Chris, one quick question, and I'm off to bed. Midnight here. Where is the mechanical duck in the the picture I sent? If you look at remember the picture you showed me, you had them circled, right? At the very top of that, you had what looked like these giant rocks or whatever they were. And of course, you labeled them something else. Look down right from the center there. You'll see what looks like there's a little weird, it looks like a little mechanical duck. It's on smooth pots. It's not with a bunch of other rocks. It's by itself, and you'll see it. It's just when you look at it, it just has that weird look to it. You're just going to be like, wow, that is just crazy as heck. By the way, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Have a look at that picture again. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's not very far from it. Just go down, and that's kind of a big picture. I don't know if you looked at the pan or the picture itself, but when you look down a certain area, it's like I said, there's hardly anything in that area, and you can see this one. It looks like almost like a little mechanical duck kind of thing. Really strange, man. I did a video about that area a long time ago. I'm off to bed rather. Work tomorrow and school runs. All the best, Chris, and all the best to the community. Good night, all. Well, MC Gamer, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Just remember, we'll do this Saturday next week at 5 p.m. Just remember that, guys. And I'll try to remind you during the week in the videos as well. Yep, Buck Rogers. Yep. Yeah, Noodles, it was, wasn't it? Is that wild? That show or what? Arc 2. In fact, you can still find it on YouTube itself. You can find where it has like the intro and everything else to that. It's kind of cheesy now when you watch it. It's like, oh, okay, that looks kind of lame compared to the stuff we see today as far as special effects and all that. But that was like, during kind of like apocalyptic times and then after that. And they're trying to help everybody with like the diseases going on and all that other stuff. Yeah. And neat doom buggy. Plus the jetpack was pretty cool. It was like you just take off and land. And I like the little doom buggy. That's neat. I wouldn't mind having one of those. Max K says, yeah, UFO, Space 1999, Star Trek, Captain Kirk was my hero. Exactly, Paul. Yeah, he said Space 1999 was cool show. No CGI in those days. I mean, they had like, you can see like explosions and stuff like that and like these weird creatures. Remember Myra? She'd be able to change into all kinds of creatures and stuff. So, of course, it was just about, filming and how they can just make her face disappear and then she turned into this creature and all this. Good stuff. Well, Jerry Anderson is the one actually producer, right, of the Space 1999 Alien, Tenno. Yeah, I mean, these guys were ahead of their time, man. If you think about it, it's just crazy. That's what I loved about shows like that. Valiant Thor's in the house. What's going on? I think you asked me about that before, Brian. You said one more time. I guess you asked me earlier, but like I said, for some reason, if I try to go all the way down the page, somehow it'll just jump up on me, and I'm like, where the hell? I can't find you guys. This is the reason why I try to go back and then go back down and read them all. You said one more, Chris, did you see the Elephant Man above your so-called dragon face on your video a week ago? No, I didn't see it, but I mean, I know what you're saying. Right above it was like, I think it was right next to that structure, right? And it was just above it. Now I looked and I didn't see that. That doesn't mean it wasn't there. I looked real quick when you mentioned that, and I was like, well, I'm not really seeing it. Now, even that dragon thing was kind of weird. It kind of had like that weird, I'm going to call it a headdress because it was just weird and would look like the long mouth or whatever. That's the way it looked. Now, whether it was that or not is a whole different story. But even like Joe from Art Alien TV, he finds a lot of these statues. Is it possible that's what we were looking at too, right? Some kind of statue. I don't know. Lucky Mole says, space nerd here. I like being in the community because we have all have so much in common. I cannot talk about these topics with others, so this is a welcome place to be. Absolutely. And, like I said, it's like-minded people, and it doesn't mean we're all nuts. I mean, a lot of people are very intelligent here. It's not like, they know things about space. They know all kinds of stuff about, the craft that we're building, the TRB-3s and stuff like that. Um, just cool stuff, man. And it's like very knowledgeable people. And, when you could talk with people like that, they're not going to go, well, he's a weirdo. What for? You know, I think anybody who talks about this stuff is very open-minded. Now, if I ran into a person like myself and I just let him talk and I'd go, okay, let me see what he's talking about. And I'd go, good for him. He's thinking outside the box and not just living everyday life and just, that's it, humdrum kind of thing going on, right? Stephen Porter, you said, Chris, do you have any of the photos from the other side of the moon available? Well, the only thing we have is what we do have some from NASA, or was the LRO, and we have some now from like I think it's China, right? They have done their other side of the moon kind of thing, but very limited photos, not a whole lot of anything, which sucks. I wish we had more. We just don't, right? Um, Cascali, it's time to go for me, you said. Take care, Chris. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. You have yourself a good night there, right? Noodles. Space 1999 and pajamas. Oh, yeah, just chilling watching that. I had a little bit, Rachel. You said everyone going? We'll be jumping off this pretty soon. I had a couple things. I usually go out for a quick jog there just after I do this here. Yes, P&K. I was going to mention that myself. You said, sorry, came back for a reminder for everyone that is interested. Mercury transit of the sun begins tomorrow morning around 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, take care. Take care all. Be safe. You do the same, man. Thanks for popping in. And yeah, I mean, and I was going to mention that to you guys too. I totally slipped my mind because I was reading the other topics we had. But yeah, watch that tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be on more than one, either uh, observatory will be showing it or NASA or somebody will be showing, I'm sure of it. But yeah, definitely have that Mercury transit of the sun tomorrow and around 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So check that out. Alien Tenno, have yourself a good night, man. Good seeing you in there, and have yourself a good week there, right? JR Metal Composer 74. Funny, people used to make fun of nerds, but nerds run the world now. I don't know if I'd call us nerds. Critically thinking. I like to use that. Critical thinker. See, that's what the government doesn't want. They don't want critical thinking people. They're just like, listen, just go to work, run your machines, do your job, shut your pie hole, go home, eat, you sit in front of your TV, go to sleep, return tomorrow. That's basically what it comes down to. And they don't want critical thinking people. They don't want people to ask questions. Rachel says I have to head to the store and get some snacks, and I just put my pants on, and they were too tight. Just suck it in. You'll be all right. Anyway, guys, we're gonna jump ship here. Anyway, we're gonna move on out. As always, great hangout. You guys are awesome. And as always, but like I said, let's try to make this for next Saturday instead of Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see how that works for everybody. And again, I'll be dropping reminders. And if you guys haven't checked out the new channel, the Lunar Anomalies and Beyond, please do so. And like I said, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit that bell for the notifications. But anyway, guys, as usual, all the great support, whether verbally, monetary, doesn't matter. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everyone. You guys are great. It's good to have everybody. And without sounding sexist or anything like that, I love it that women are in on this. We have a lot of women in the science community, meaning actual working for NASA even back in the day. So it does my heart good to see more and more women in this. It's just awesome. I just love it. Very knowledgeable here on the channel. Good people. I love that you all here, all the gentlemen here doing the same. So again, appreciate you all. Anyway, you guys have a good night and a good week coming up, and just watch for the videos coming up. I got some Mars and Moon as well, and we should, like I said, I'll remind you guys for next Saturday. But more than anything, I'm going to try to get out. I try to get out at least 3 now instead of 2. So there's like at least 2 Mars and Moon, and we'll be changing it up soon so we can just maybe either do 2 Moon, 2 Mars. It don't matter. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You guys are the best. Thanks for stopping in and having a good conversation. I appreciate that. And that's it. We'll do it again next week. Peace, guys.